Hi. I have some thoughts about my PTSD. However, please bear with me because I don't have a script, and these thoughts that I want to explore, these are new ideas to me in the moment, in this exact moment right now. And, so that will make things a little less organized, and I'm in a lot of pain, so that will make things less organized. Right. I have been diagnosed with PTSD. I've also been diagnosed. I've been diagnosed with 4 things together. They all exist together. These are not alternatives. Depression, generalized anxiety disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and panic disorder. So, for this, we need to assume that those things are true and that they have meaning. That they are medical conditions. Yes, we must assume that, which isn't always easy, even for me, living with it. Okay, so it's also my belief that I have my belief that I have, in addition to those things, neurological conditions that sometimes create symptoms that look like depression, depression symptoms, or symptoms of the disorders in the family of anxiety disorders. So that includes anxiety, PTSD, and panic disorder. Okay. So I think right now we can assume that that's true. I think that's for this conversation. Let's assume that's true, that I'm right about this neurological condition. And I want to point out, I'm not saying that it's an alternative explanation. I'm saying in addition to. Okay. So here's this. So right now, well, I told you I'm in pain. And as far as I can tell, the pain, what I'm experiencing right now, the medical problems I'm experiencing right now, are entirely from PTSD or panic disorder. PTSD. Let's just say PTSD. That's. I was I was given this diagnosis in 2011, and I've been living with it for 13 years, but I'm still really surprised that this is happening. I really don't understand. I don't understand. I can very, I want to say slowly, like work through the steps of what is happening, the cause, the effect, or the sequence of events, and say, and come to the clear conclusion that yes, the pain I'm experiencing, my inability to eat right now, just my gastrointestinal system is all jumbled up. The physical problems I'm having right now are caused by, must be caused by the PTSD. And I hesitate, the reason I'm hesitating to say it is because I don't really understand. I don't. I like I said, I can slowly work through each of the steps. Like I sort of think of it as an algebra problem. If A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C, like that type of thing. And if I do that, yes, this is, oh, ow, hold on. Ow. Oh, and I have a headache. So what I'm experiencing is PTSD. It's weird. It's so weird, and I don't really get it. Okay. In contrast, the neurological stuff. The neurological disorder, okay, we're assuming for now that I'm right, that I do have it, do have a neurological problem. To the best of my knowledge, the neurological condition is not well described in the literature. There's not a name for it. Nevertheless, I have found tons of support for it, and I have described a highly plausible explanation. I know it's plausible because I've spoken with multiple doctors about it, and the reaction is, let's say, healthy skepticism. Okay, which is good. I'm really happy that that's how they all approached it. So they say they don't know of anything in the medical literature that matches what I described. So that suggests I'm wrong. And that's true. That is the suggestion. The absence of evidence. right? Absence of evidence in the literature. But I describe everything using in the language of medicine, and I describe the biological mechanisms. And each of the doctors I spoke with, I think it's been 5 now, to whom I've described it, they admitted they were unable to see an error, a flaw, or an unresolved hole in the model that I'm describing. Right. So I'm saying things such as the amount of dopamine that is available in a particular cell, and I'm talking about hyperconnectivity between neurons, and hyperactivity in connections between neurons, and I'm describing everything using mechanisms that are studied. Oh, and I have a lot of detail in my model, such as how the whole thing is modulated, is what it's called. So the serotonin. Why am I going into this much detail? I know why I'm going into this much detail. Okay, hold on 1 second while I regroup my thoughts. Okay. Irony. Oh, okay. So I was explaining a bunch of details I don't need to explain in this conversation. And that road that I was going down, that path I was going down, I'm stopping. It's over. And it's not necessary. Okay, so I was comparing and contrasting my very real medical condition of PTSD with my neurological problem. My neurological problem, I have a way better understanding of it, which I just demonstrated. And I just told you that I don't, and I told you and accidentally demonstrated that I don't understand my PTSD. I don't understand. I wish I had a better word than understand, because I'm using it in like 2 different senses. Like, I understand. I told you I can do the math, do the algebra. I can slowly work through the steps. Yes, I understand it at that level. But a more automatic understanding, I just don't have it, and I never have. So I can anticipate things that will trigger my PTSD, I can often predict what will or will not trigger my PTSD. So I do have some level of understanding. But I can't explain why the triggers that are happening right now. Like I know more or less what they are. I think I do. Hold on. Let me regroup my thoughts. Okay. Let's assume for a moment that I do know, meaning I can articulate what triggers are happening right now that are causing my PTSD symptoms. So I could explain, this is the trigger, I have PTSD, and this is the symptom. That's it. And if you ask me, well, why? I don't know. I mean, I can tell you the chain of events, but that's it. I'm done. I don't know why. And you could ask me, well, why do you have PTSD? And I can tell you that. I can tell you the chain of events. But why does that mean PTSD? I don't know. What is PTSD? I don't really know. I mean, I kind of know. As compared to most people in the world, I'm not bragging, as compared to most people in the world, I know pretty well, but I don't know. I don't know, like I can't explain it as well as I can explain math, for example, and I can't explain it as well as I can explain the neurological problems. That's the comparison and contrast I was trying to do. So I am just way more comfortable talking about my neurological problems and thinking about my neurological problems and trying to fix my neurological problems and all of it. Like it's so much easier for me to comprehend, to understand, and deal with it. This PTSD, you know, it doesn't feel like, my PTSD feels like superstition or supernatural or an evil spirit. Like if you told me I was, like if we replaced the words PTSD with demon possession, yeah, that's, I still have my ability to explain things wouldn't change. Like, so, like, here, watch. Oh, hold on. A lot of pain. Ow. Come on. Pause. Okay. I'm back. Okay. Keep in mind that this demon possession analogy that I'm about to use, this is literally the first time I've ever thought of it. You watched me think of it. Okay. I'm going to explain a series of events they're true, meaning anything that you could observe is definitely true. My explanation of why may or may not be true. But the events are 100% accurate, okay? I need to leave this place where I am living and go live in a new place. That is true. And I need to do that tomorrow. That is true. To do that, I have to, yeah, that's it. You know what? That's plenty. Okay. I need to stop living here and go live in a new place. But I don't yet know what that new place is. And one problem I have is that I am possessed by a demon. And this demon does not like change. And this demon doesn't like living in a house where there's a lot of noise, doesn't like doesn't like barking dogs. So and this demon is really upset that I'm moving, and the demon's upset that I don't know where I'm going, and the demon is upset, and no, not that. It's not upset that I don't know where I'm going. The demon's upset that I can't guarantee that the place where I'm going won't be terrible for him, for the demon. The demon that possessed me. Okay. Therefore, this demon is using its demon powers to make me sick. Like I have a headache because the demon is here. So stupid, but it's just hold on. Okay. The demon is causing me a headache. The demon is it's a stomach demon. So my stomach and intestinal tract is all upset, and it's hard for me to contain the demon, keep the demon from hurting me. So my energy is really low. Okay. So all the, except for the stuff that, okay, I do have a headache. I do have an upset stomach. I do have my energy as well. And it probably appears really dark in here, but it's 2:30 in the afternoon, and if I turn this light on, it hurts my eyes. The light is not bright. It's one light bulb. There. One light bulb inside a fixture. It's objectively, it is not bright. In fact, objectively, it's not enough light for this room. But the demon is mad, and so the demon, it's so funny saying it this way. The demon makes my eyes really sensitive or something like that. The demon doesn't like the light. Yes, the demon doesn't like the light, and so he hurts me or something. Okay. If I tell you, if I explain all of those events, and instead of using the word, instead of saying I'm possessed by a demon, I say I have the medical condition of post-traumatic stress disorder. Here's the explanation. Here it is. I have to leave this place where I'm living tomorrow, and I have to go live somewhere else. I don't know where I'm going to live. And that's a major problem for me because I'm highly sensitive to noise, such as barking dogs. And the whole thing is triggering my PTSD. The fact that I have to move is a trigger for my PTSD because I've been homeless since 2011. And homeless means lack of permanent shelter. So tomorrow is where I have to move it's a very is homelessness like inaction rather than just being homelessness being a state of being? It's homelessness as an action, and that triggers my PTSD and being worried about where I end up living triggers my PTSD. Okay, so that's what and the PTSD, the symptoms that result are headache, digestion problems, low energy, and sensitivity to light, among others. Okay, so that's my full understanding of PTSD. How did my explanation of what's happening? Okay, when I gave you the explanation of what is happening and I described it I described it, god damn it, I have to pause for a second. Ow. I have the medical condition of PTSD. That is causing the symptoms I'm experiencing right now. And I explained to you what events are triggering my PTSD and then what symptoms are being caused by my PTSD. When I described all that to you using all of my knowledge about PTSD and my circumstances, that description sounds pretty much identical to the same explain the same triggers and causes and effects, triggers and symptoms, using possession by demons as the explanation for what is happening. I feel like they're indistinguishable, the two explanations, PTSD and possession by demons. So that's what I mean when I say it sounds just like a superstition or magic or some sort of divine retribution or something. Like it doesn't I think you get it. And I don't like that. I don't like a supernatural, superstitious explanation for my life. Maybe I don't know how I feel about it right now. It doesn't matter how I feel about it for the rest of the world. But for my life, especially, oh no, it's more than that. It's not just my life, it's this huge problem that I'm at risk right now. I don't just have a tummy ache. Things could go horribly wrong very easily, and they have in the past. I've been robbed of everything I own. I've almost died multiple times. Been attacked. People have literally tried to kill me. So I am at situation is really dangerous. I want it to change. And I work very hard to change it. It's all I work on. And nevertheless, my ability to explain what is going on sounds like a story about how I am possessed with demons, possessed by demons. It's just that's so. I hate that. It's really disappointing for me, frustrating. I don't know the word. I don't like it. I don't want that to be the case because I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to. I'm not possessed by demons. But if I knew I were, I mean, maybe if that were somehow true, maybe I could find a cure, right? Or a way to manage it, right? On the other hand, we do, as a society, we have many, many, many treatments for PTSD as a society. But as a society, we have decided that I am not allowed to have those treatments. Let's be clear that is exactly what is happening. As a society, we have a lot of knowledge about PTSD, even though I can't explain PTSD better than possession by demons. Other people can. Medical professionals can. As a society, we have knowledge. And as a society, we have treatments. And as a society, we've decided that because I don't have enough money in my pocket, I am not allowed to use those treatments. We have decided that. I'm not saying I am so important that as a society, 300 million of us got together and had a vote. Should we give Hunter this treatment? Yes or no? That's not what happened. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying that as a society, we have made other decisions about how we want our society to function. And the net result, the direct result of those decisions is our society has decided I am not allowed to have the benefit of the knowledge our society has. I'm not allowed to use the treatments that our society has developed. That's what we have decided. We decided that money is a major pathway, barrier, all the hold on. I just gonna have to pause. Okay, something like this. As a society, we have decided that access to a medical treatment is primarily regulated through money. This is in contrast to access to a treatment being primarily regulated through the need for that treatment. So in many societies that are similar to the United States, such as the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Sweden, Finland, Norway, the treatment, almost every treatment that's available in the United States is available there too. And the way the treatments are allocated is based on who's sick. In the United States, it's who has the money. That's the primary way. Okay? There are secondary ways. The primary way is who has the money. And I don't have the money. The secondary ways in the United States. So let's all of these secondary ways, these so-called welfare ways, charity. I mean, we think of it as charity. Like, our society has knowledge. Okay, the doctors don't own that knowledge. The politicians don't own that knowledge. That knowledge belongs to all of society. And nevertheless, if a poor person is given access to a treatment based on that knowledge, we think of it as charity. Why? Why does the poor person not automatically have it's their knowledge too? It belongs to all of society. The knowledge doesn't belong to rich people, it doesn't belong to anyone. It belongs to all of society. Even if a medical treatment was developed since you were born, 99.9999% of the knowledge that is necessary to implement that medical treatment was developed before you were born. It's stuff like farming. So when you were born, when I was born, and when some other person was born into a rich family, and some other person was born into a really poor family, we all inherited knowledge as a society. A bunch of knowledge that we didn't do anything to cause to be. It existed before we were born. And when we're born, all that knowledge that we inherited, it doesn't belong to you or me, or the poor person or the rich person. It belongs to all of society. So it's really weird that later in life, if I need that knowledge, we think of it as charity if I use that knowledge. That's just strange, people. That's really strange. And wrong. Okay, where was I? Right. So, the primary method in the United States for regulating access to medical knowledge, therefore medical treatments, is money. Okay. All of the secondary ways in the United States require proof of poverty first. That's really important. If you want to access this knowledge without money, you first have to prove you don't have money. You have to prove it first. Very rare exceptions, like an emergency car accident, something like that. Like if they don't treat you right now, you die. But if you won't die or have a permanent and debilitating condition because they don't treat you, they won't, unless you prove poverty first. It's really clutch. It's really, really important. Contrast that with other countries that are a lot like the United States. First you get the treatment, then they talk about the money. For example, a friend of mine who was traveling in England specifically, of the United Kingdom, and she is very American. She did not blend in, and she broke her arm, and they took her to the hospital, and the hospital treated her, and the entire time people they were discussing the fact that she was from the United States. So there were no secrets, but there was no discussion of money, and that's because the way the system is set up is access to the treatment is based on your medical condition, not your financial condition. Even though she was just absolutely not a UK citizen. But in the United States, if you don't have money and you want to access the knowledge that society owns, you have to first prove, before you can access, you have to prove poverty. And you have to prove you're sick. Like before you can get access to the resources, it's so backwards. Okay, I'm gonna, here's so stupid. I'm laughing because it's so absurd. It's not funny. It hurt. Oh, fuck me. Okay. PTSD, as I just demonstrated, sounds like possession by demons, right? In the United States, if I want medical attention, let's just use that word, not even treatment, but attention from a medical professional, but I don't have money, I have to prove that I don't have money, which is surprisingly difficult. When I proved that in Texas, oh yeah, I also had to prove that the reason I don't have, okay, so the state of Texas agreed with me that I did not have money, but I then had to prove, that the reason that I did not have money for a bad reason. Like I had to declare that I don't do drugs, which I don't, but that was a prerequisite to accessing my knowledge that's owned by society. I have to go through the burden of proof, which is just crazy. I have to prove that I didn't do things that the government disagrees with, like drugs, or I didn't quit a job, or whatever. And because I didn't prove that, which is crazy, but I didn't, I was unable to satisfy the government, they called me an able-bodied adult. That was the classification under the law. Even though I absolutely was not an able-bodied adult. I had about 3 weeks prior to the state of Texas telling me that, I had been diagnosed with panic disorder by a doctor. And the state of Texas said, you are an able-bodied adult. About 3 weeks prior to that, the panic disorder had caused me to sleep next to a toilet. I didn't want to. I was not able-bodied, but the state of Texas said I was because I didn't provide enough proof. Maybe I didn't. Here's just a crazy thought. Maybe I was unable to provide enough proof because I had panic disorder, I was sick, and really poor. That's just crazy. So stupid. So in the United States, you got to prove you're poor. You got to prove that you're poor you have to prove that there are no bad reasons, so-called bad reasons, wrong reasons for your poverty. And you have to prove, before you get attention from a medical professional, before you can get attention from a medical professional, you have to prove you need attention. I'm serious. It's straight out of Joseph Heller Catch-22. How do I prove I need medical attention? Well, you get a diagnosis from someone. How do I do that? Well, you get medical attention. Wait. To get medical attention, I need to prove I need to get medical attention. Yes. And the best way to prove I need to get medical attention is to first get medical attention. Yes. That's literally how it's set up. So, if I had a broken arm, it'd be a little easier to prove I need medical attention. But PTSD sounds like possession by demons. And most people, not most, I don't want to say that, many people, and the government especially, does not recognize PTSD, the incidences of PTSD, the incidence of PTSD, as high as it really is. It's just, they think most people are lying. That's really what it boils down to. They think most people who claim they have PTSD are lying, and that they are instead able-bodied adults. And to help underscore how wrong Texas was about that, they called me an able-bodied adult back in 2014. So it's been 10 years. I'm not an able-bodied adult. They're very wrong. And Texas is my state. That's where I'm from. So I'm their son, and they crapped on me because they just accuse people of lying. If someone's poor and says I'm poor and it's not my fault, or I'm poor and I actually do need help, the state of Texas assumes we're lying unless we can prove otherwise. And if someone says I have PTSD, I need help, the state of Texas assumes we're lying unless we can prove otherwise. And I couldn't. So the fact that I can explain these neurological problems using the language of science, and the explanation that I have won't be confused with possession by demons. It can't be substituted with a story that includes possession by demons. Okay? That makes me more comfortable, and actually, you know what? It makes most of society more comfortable. But PTSD sounds like possession by demons, and I hate it. I don't like that that's how it is in my life, and so does society. And so society says, my society says, I can't have access to our collective knowledge. I can't have access to society's knowledge about PTSD, and I can't have access to society's treatments for PTSD, and I can't have a house. I can't have a house. I can't have food. I can't have safety. Because I can't prove to the state of Texas or some other government that I have PTSD. I'm just not allowed to have medical attention. It's really messed up. And all those things. I ended up. I warned you in the beginning that that this video would be disorganized for multiple reasons, including that I didn't have a script, which is another way of saying I didn't have a thesis, I guess. So I ended up discussing a bunch of things I didn't realize were quite interrelated. I started the video because the thought popped into my head about where I compared and contrasted my relatively scientific knowledge of neurological problems with my relatively unsophisticated knowledge of PTSD. Okay, and that comparison and contrast eventually led to, in my world, my level of knowledge is such that PTSD is the same as possession by demons. So that's how I started the video, and that is, I think that's interesting. It's interesting to me, at least. And also, yeah, whatever. And what it's totally surprising to me is the parallel between how I'm just so much more comfortable with the scientific stuff, and I'm just emotionally uncomfortable with my relative ignorance of PTSD. My ignorance such that I'd call it, I mean, it might as well be possession by demons. That my emotional discomfort is very parallel to my society. And then my society's actions and policies, where the society is uncomfortable with PTSD as a diagnosis, and so society limits my access to medical attention for potential PTSD because they're uncomfortable. That's messed up. That is messed up. Because whether or not I have PTSD has nothing to do with whether or not I understand it. It has nothing to do with whether or not society understands it. And my treatment whether or not I get treatment depends on whether or not I can get access to it. And I don't have money, so I can't get access to it. Because of my society, the way my society sets up our knowledge, our medical knowledge. Medical knowledge is regulated by financial need, or financial, that's not the right word. I'm tired. Well, I mean, I'm just done. I'm done. I need help. My society hasn't helped me. My family hasn't helped me, and some of my family. My father is one of the causes of my PTSD. I don't like saying it because I don't completely understand it. And talking about it triggers the PTSD. The reason I'm telling you that right now is because when people, it doesn't take long to figure out that I am poor and that I do need help. And people almost always ask either me or themselves, why doesn't his family help him? Well, I don't really understand that. I don't understand why they don't help me, but they don't. And my father is one of the causes of my PTSD. So that's not an option. I explained to you. The next question is usually, well, what about the government? What about? I'm laughing because it's just so. The next question is, what about the government? And I don't understand why. Well, I just explained why, didn't I? Well, that's why. And even if you don't understand why, they don't. They don't. I'm still poor. Oh. The only reason I'm alive is because of help from individual people. That's it. I wish I could tell you the only reason I'm alive is because I refuse to give up. That's just stupid. I hate that shit. I mean, I have not given up. That is one factor. But I'm not self-sufficient. I do not have the health to be what we call self-sufficient. I don't anymore. I did before. When I was a lawyer, when I was a teacher, when I worked in IT, when I owned my own business, when I worked for Dell, when I worked for .com, when I was in law school, when I lived in China. There's been... But now, no, I'm not self-sufficient. I expend maximum effort, 100%, all the time. But it's not enough for me to be alive. And I'm alive because of help from other people. To get access to medical treatment, however, I need more help because my society is stupid. We are stupid. I am part of the society, and even though I disagree with what our society has done, I cannot separate myself. I can't say, oh, I'm smart and everybody else is stupid. No, our society is stupid, which includes me. Or our society is not stupid, which includes me. That's how it goes. Their society is wrong, and before I was sick, I was changing it. I wasn't just trying to change it, I was changing it. I was a lawyer, I was an assistant state's attorney, and I was making our society better. But access to healthcare is still regulated by money. I don't have it. I need healthcare. And I hate begging for it. It's so hard for me to even say words. Please help. little bit,